and the stream should be starting up everywhere. Just a second. Give me a chance to get my one sip of water for the day. Though, I must admit, the Facebook service, the YouTube service, the Twitch service, those are probably going to be the best ones because I have it connected to a more in-depth interface. Everything else, like with the TikTok stream, is purely through the phone and I have no control over the sound effects. So, you have been forewarned. Now I just need to make sure that it's a go on every service and we can get started with something. It's not going to be fully serious because I haven't had a chance to really just curate any story. Why am I getting a notification that I'm live to myself? Like, I'm the one who started this. I know. Though it is good that it's paying attention, right? Right? Okay. I see that it's live there. All services are receiving the live stream. So I will go ahead and start with the first story. Don't mind the background. I literally just took a copy of Todoroki's Room and put it in the background. Ah, Shua is present. I've witnessed your presence. I see you. Also, since it was your idea, we're going to start with the first portion of this. Hopefully, TikTok doesn't be like, what is this drug substance? Go ahead and get rid of that. It's like that meme that I send the image for constantly. Go ahead and turn the live stream off for me. I'm just sitting there like, alright. So we've got to start with this. And actually we can take off the hat. It's already messed up the wig hair. And we're going to put on... Oh crap, I dropped the bottle. We're going to put on our headphones. We're going to do a little introduction. Well, actually, introductions aren't needed, but we'll just play some music, eh? I pick up my bottle from the floor. And my phone's gonna fall. Look at that.
1, 2, coming in with the moonshine business.
Your idea.
Here we go. I shine right through with the lyrics on tap. I'm about to thunder up yet another dirty rap for the duo that you know infusing the swing vibe. Bring down the ding of the music they spin like wax burning like mercury.
All right. Haven't had something that smooth in a long time. Let me tell my friend. With your feet and knees, let's bounce. The hinge of the industry sings. Electro with a vintage strings, let's bounce. Okay.
The hinge of the industry sings.
Struggle bus driver. I like that. What is up, Tunji1? Is that how you say that? You wish you had alcohol too. You can run to the liquor store. They're not closed yet. Has anyone ever told you look like Lawrence Fishburne? You know what? If I had a penny for every time someone said that, I wouldn't be quarantined right now. Hey, Molly, how's it going? Okay. We're gonna get started with a mediocre story. I have not had a chance to curate any of these, so I don't know if they are fire or not. But we're about to find out. And if people piss me off with that Lawrence Fishburne shit too much, I'm about to serve up some hot bands. Alright. This story... Let's see what it's called. My father punished me when I talked to ghosts. Your friend is... Wait, your friend... Which friend? Did you scream? Who is that? Who is your friend? And how is your friend here? Like, how are they here? Okay. Seriously though, we're gonna get started with the story. Estimated time is 8 minutes. Shua, what you doing? You done invited all your friends? Alright. I've been blind since birth. Don't worry, it's not actually me blind. As I grew up, everything was described to me in such vivid detail that I didn't even realize why it was that important to see, especially having no reference point to compare it. We lived in a single-floor ranch house. That's what my father told me. Oh, hey, Mars! Yeah, I'm sorry, I don't want to interrupt the reading too much, but I do like to acknowledge that I do see y'all entering as I'm doing this. So, that's what my father told me. In my mind, of course, I could see. Although, unlike how a sighted person could see, I had spatial awareness. I knew where my bedroom was, where the bathroom, living room, and kitchen were. Each wall had its own texture. I don't know if it was done on purpose, or if I could feel things others never noticed. Go around touching everything. I rarely fell over, only if Father, or one of the visitors, put something somewhere they shouldn't have. It was usually the visitors, and Father would shout. They visited infrequently, and only briefly when they did. Father said I shouldn't speak to them, that it unsettled him. Oh, I guess I could do a little bit of music. Hold on a second. We're going to choose a random... I have no rights to use any music for this, so that's why this is a test run, so... Yeah. We're just going to get a little... something for an hour, right? Alright. He'd worry when oh, wait. There we go. They visited him frequently, and only briefly when they did. Father said I shouldn't speak to them, that it unsettled him. He'd worry when I saw something he didn't. Saw it with my ears or by touch. Ellie was the first. She seemed very sweet. She asked me my name and why my face was so messed up. Oh my god, that's like a personal attack right there. Oh, hell. That Lawrence Fishburne thing is coming back now. She was in the living room. I could hear where she sat from her breaths. Harsh nasal sounds. As if her nose was blocked. When Father had a cold, he'd always breathe through his mouth. Big, labored breaths. As he wasn't used to it. When people mentioned my face, I always touched it, trying to work out why it was so strange to them. When I asked if I could touch theirs, there was always a pause. I guess sighted people never did that. Why would they need to? When I asked Ellie if I could touch her face, she reluctantly agreed. But moments later, Father entered the room and asked me, who was I speaking to? I told him, nobody. Huh? He would always punish me when I spoke about them. I think it scared him. He'd take my arm and march me off. I'd be knocked off balance and disoriented. To the point where when he finally set me down, my hands would frantically search my surroundings until I knew where I was. It was usually my bedroom, though every now and then he'd leave me outside in the middle of nowhere. That was the worst. This person got some serious daddy issues. I would be lost and scared. He told me about the road that ran in front of the house and explained that the sounds I heard were cars, that they'd kill me if they touched me. Those sounds were my only means of recognizing my surroundings. I waited until I heard one, and then I knew which way to run back to the house. I heard Ellie that evening. She whispered to me, saying she was scared. I whispered back, but she didn't hear. I asked Father about Ellie. He didn't want to talk about her. I asked him why. He didn't reply. When I told him that she asked about my face, he asked how I responded. I told him I wanted to touch hers. Boy, he laughed. Though I knew he wasn't happy, I could hear the difference. When you laugh for pleasure, your mouth is wide open. When you pretend, your mouth is almost closed. To me, the difference is obvious. It wasn't until I was older that he explained. He said we lived in a special place, connected to the other world, that sometimes dead people slipped through. People who died in pain and wanted to reach the living. He explained that because I couldn't see, I was able to tune into that. That they knew I was listening when others weren't. He said I had to ignore it. Otherwise, he told me, they'd latch on and never leave me. All the dead want is to be alive again, he said. It was dangerous, and they would trick me. He said he knew how to deal with them, but he couldn't help if they became attached to me. Alex appeared to me a few years later. She told me she was lost and didn't know where she was. I told her I wasn't allowed to speak to her. Still, she pleaded for help. And this is the moment that I take a drink. Whew! You don't know how good it is to taste that smooth drink for once. I kept quiet, knowing what would happen if I said anything. Did you speak to them? Father asked. Though I was upset, I told him no. I wished I could help her. I knew what it was like to be lost, and it scared me. Alex didn't whisper to me at all. I'd ignored her, and she had ignored me. Father saved me, and I was thankful. After Alex, I knew what I needed to do, so I did it. The spirit stopped bothering me after that for a very long time. That was... until Sarah appeared. The mods aren't asleep, by the way. But we will do a little something extra. Now for the next part 2 of the story, because there's like an advertisement in between. Oh, someone else that probably actually had the rights to do this narrated this story. Oh my god, my thing is scrolling way past the text. Sarah didn't give me a chance to be quiet. Why are people? Don't worry about people. We're in the apocalypse now. People are gonna act very people-y. I was on my own, sitting in the living room and listening to the television. Help! She said. I need to find a way out. I stayed silent. You can hear me, can't you? She asked, surprised. I'm not allowed to speak to you, I told her. Please, she begged. I'm scared. I'm lost. I want to see my daddy. I gripped the arms of the chair and told her I wasn't allowed. He's dead, she said. I didn't answer. Your father is dead, she said again. I wasn't going to fall for it. I heard banging from around the room as things began to fly, and the shelves began to shake. Stop it! I shouted. And it did. You know, that usually never works. Please help me leave, she said. I wasn't going to talk to her. I did the only thing I thought would help. I unlocked the front door, hoping she'd run out and get lost, just like I would do. When I heard from her no more, I locked the door and sat back down. I listened intently for any signs she was still there, except for the sounds of the TV. It was silent. I hated when my heart raced. I became all too aware of the tick-tock feeling, the rise and fall within my chest. Like it was about to explode when I heard my father's voice. I screamed. "Son," he said, "I need your help. I think I'm dying." I did what he told me to do. I didn't speak. If he did die, he'd never leave me. Instead, I raced out into the open air and shouted for help. I shouted until my voice was hoarse. Shouted until my voice was a tiny pony, you know. I heard the sounds of cars racing along the road in front of my house. I shouted until I heard someone respond. It was a woman. "What's wrong?" they asked. I told them I think my father was dying. They asked what happened to my face. I pleaded with them to help me, and they promised they would. I sat down on the grass and waited. Sometime later, the woman returned to me and asked if she could hold my hand. "I'm so sorry," she told me. I heard the sound of sirens and people rushing. I asked what was going on. The woman said she was there for me. As the noise died down, a man asked me a question. "I'm a paramedic," he said. "What happened to your face?" I told him I was fine. He asked if I was sure, and I told him I was. He asked if I minded him touching my face. I said it was okay. Okay. A moment later, I felt a pressure release from around my forehead, and the air felt cold against my skin. It sounded as if he were peeling an orange. I imagined that in my head... I imagined that in my head, and worried he'd expose my insides. Well, that was a bit of weird grammar there. I screamed and asked what he was doing. He told me everything was going to be okay. And then the woman squeezed my hand, telling me to be brave. I didn't know what it was that I was experiencing. I felt a tight pain within my head, like when you smash your shin against something hard, thick, followed by something I've come to understand as bright. It hurt so much I began to cry. I didn't know what it was I was experiencing. Oh, I'm sitting here rereading that. "What happened to your eyes?" the paramedic asked. I said I was blind. He asked to check them. The pain returned when he examined them. "Do you know him?" the man asked the woman who had helped me. She told him that I had been screaming for help and that she had come to my aid, but that she had never met me before. "How long have you had your eye injury?" he asked me. I told him I'd been blind from birth. He asked me if I could see his fingers. I told him no. He asked if I could open my eyes. I said I didn't know what he meant. He asked if he could open them for me. I didn't respond. Then I felt his fingers on my face, fingers covered in something rubbery. Suddenly, it became bright again. I screamed. He tried to calm me. The woman squeezed my hand again. I didn't know what was happening. Things I couldn't describe came to me. It was like it always was, but multiplied 100-fold. And so much more real. I carried on, screaming, as a fuzzy form came into view. "Just breathe, okay?" The paramedic said, "Everything will be fine." "When was the last time you saw?" As my heart began to calm and my breathing slowed, I became distracted by what I was experiencing. It overwhelmed me. I wanted to cry, and I did. "How long has it been?" he asked again. "I've never seen anything before," I told him. And there's an addendum in the story, which means it's a break for a little sip. "No, you cannot, sir. I do not approve this." Please don't fall. I don't have the lid on you. Let's put this on so I don't make any mistake. I was told to keep an eye mask on for most of the day, only taking it off at night at first to allow my eyes time to adjust. At the same time, I was placed in the custody of my aunt and uncle. I didn't even know it at first. They were shocked at what happened to me, and that I had never attended school. The past few years have been a roller coaster ride. The doctor said I may never have perfect vision, though what little I have is a godsend. And I'll take what I can get. I've only recently been learning to read and write, so I apologize if my English isn't the greatest. It's the best I can do. I've been asking my aunt what happened to my father, but all she says is that he died of a heart attack. I asked what sort of man he was. She says he was her brother, and she'll love him no matter what. My uncle doesn't want to talk about him at all. I've been using the computer a lot recently, and really enjoying the internet. Oh boy, the internet. The things you'll find on that internet. I can't believe such a thing exists, right? After being so lonely for so long, I can talk to whoever I want, when I want. Though I'm wary that, after all, how do I know if who I'm speaking to is alive? No one seems to share my father's concerns about that. Today I was on a forum discussing the spirit world. I was so happy to find people who I could relate to, and someone curious about my username sent me a link to an article on a true crime website. It was about my father, and mentioned me by name. They asked me who I was, and if I was the same person according to the article. My mother had gone missing soon after my birth. It said I'd been bound so that I couldn't see. That my father always wanted a daughter. They found 14 bodies in the basement. They said one got away. A girl by the name of Sarah Frank. She was the one to call the police. They found Father's car parked around the back of the house. They supposed he carried his victims into the basement via the storm entrance and left them there. Sarah had managed to get away after she agreed to be his daughter following 4 days of sustained torture. She stabbed him with a knife he'd placed on the counter to butter some toast. Damn, she stabbed him with a butter knife? Those things think... Anyway, I didn't want to believe it, and I'm not sure I would have, if it weren't for the names of the victims. Two which stuck out, Ellie Farmer and Alex Riddle. I'd spoken to them both in the living room. To this day, I wonder if my father had been honest with me about a single thing in his life. Throughout it all, one question remains above all others. Did I speak to Ellie and Alex before or after he killed them? It'd actually take an absurd amount of force to puncture with a butter knife. Simple fact. They aren't sharp. The story loses accuracy points. You know what? I'm bound to agree with that. Like, that just... I know the stories aren't intended to be real, but you're right. Come on, like, the same type of knife that I use to spread my mayonnaise with? A kid mustering the strength to fatally wound an adult with that? All they had to do was use any other knife. Yeah, like, if they had literally said anything other than the knife used to butter the toast. Unless this guy was so hardcore that the knife that he used to butter his toast was also the knife that he used to, you know, shank people. Why does it have to be mayonnaise? Couldn't it be something else? Shua, you know I'm a mayonnaise fiend. You know I need that mayonnaise. Is that your Discord going off? Because I don't think it's mine. Yes, that is my Discord. I'm a part of many servers, and the notifications just happen to keep going off. I don't know how to make it stop. Actually, I could probably just open the volume mixer and reduce Discord's sound to nothing. I'm sorry. I didn't think about that. I didn't. I'm disgusting. Oh no! I lost the Shua seal of approval. My life is over. I succumb to my butter knife. Oh, by the way, this is the knife that I use to spread butter. Now that we've gotten the butter out of the way, let's get the fuck. Alright, let's take a story from our no sleep. Wait, don't forget to turn what down? I did turn the notifications down. If they're still going, then those are your Discord notifications. It's out of my hands now. Oh wait, what the hell? I turned the volume to 0. Bro, what? I don't understand. I turned the volume of Discord to... Why is there 2 Discords? Bro. How does it open twice? Okay. It should be handled now. It's done. It's good. We're good. We're cool. Spooky. What's up? How are you doing? Long time no speak. Remember the days of the Skype calls that we used to have? To Discord? A new horror story. Okay. Birthday photos. This one has like 889 upvotes, so I'm hoping it's good. As a baby... Oh, wait, what other platform are you streaming on? Because you seem to be talking to people I can't see. I'm talking to ghosts. There's Twitch for the living and then Twitch for the dead. But in actuality, I am streaming to YouTube, Facebook, DLive, and Twitch. I would be streaming to Mixer, but they got some fuck shit going on with their streaming service. What are you on the internet? That was years ago, I know. So, as a baby, I had multiple health problems. Oh my god, something we can all relate to. I couldn't be outside for too long because the sun was toxic to my skin. My parents kept me inside for the entirety of the first 2 years of my life. I mean, not like you're gonna remember it. I don't remember the first 2 years of my life. My mother always stayed home to care for me, and my father always traveled for work. None of this really affects me now. Aside from a few chronic illnesses, I feel mostly fine. And I barely remember any of the years I was kept inside of my house. See, like, I'm going to take a break from this to just mention the credibility of the story just kind of... most people, oh no, the baby is in danger. What I thought. Nagisa. Who's Nagisa? Damn, them contacts are hitting. You know what? Okay, honorable mention to the contacts. These are Tender Hazel from Dancing in the Room. Like, I love them. They're my favorite thing ever. So just... You know, it was funny. I was at a bar the other day and some lady looked at me with these contacts in and said, "Oh, are your eyes blue?" And I said, "No." And she was like, "Oh my God, your eyes are blue." And I was, you know, at this point, I just went with it. I'm like, okay. And I had my beer in my hand and I was just like, yeah. They look good on camera. Perfect. I thought this light in front of me would be like too much, but now with it off, it just, you know, maybe I could reduce its intensity. Oh, that increased it. Let's just drop it down a little to right there. Weird that when you come close to drop a sponsor, you become completely inaudible. There's a reason for that. This microphone, it's a dynamic microphone. So if I move here, you're not going to hear too much. It's not going to be as great. So, like, it's only optimal if I stay within this range of the microphone. So, I guess that out of the way. It's always them to like. It's kind of rad. Thank you. I usually went for the blue contacts, but like these have gotten so much attention. Like, I love them. I love them. Oh, actually, you know, let's do the creepy thing. Let's touch the contact and move it so you can see what's under. Okay. Now that I've did the nasty. I don't know if you can see that because I couldn't see anymore at that point. My mother always stayed home to take care of me. And my father... Also, Octavia Memories. I've never seen you in any stream eyeball touching extra swoopy. If you've been using contacts this long, you're used to being, you know, like, I can just touch my eyeball. It's nothing to me now. But when I first started, it was scary as hell. Joke's on you. I haven't seen you in any stream either. Oh wait, are you a streamer? What do you stream? Alright, we're gonna continue the story. My mother always stayed home to take care of me, and my father always traveled for work. None of this really affects me now. Aside from a few chronic illnesses, I feel mostly fine. And I barely remember any of the years I was kept inside my house. I'm sorry, the gray goose is starting to talk. And my alcoholism is kicking in, and the desire for more of it is really, really strong now. On my first birthday, I was alone with my mother. My father was on a plane back from Europe to celebrate with us. My mother got a phone call. The plane crashed. Only 4 people died. That was a very, very sick baby. Alcoholism is kicking in. He brought back Corona. Okay. Live streaming was a mistake. My dad was one of them. My mother became nearly bedridden. Bedridden? Bedridden. Bedridden. She did not leave the house at all. The only time she showed any happiness was when she would play with me and care for me. You should have thought about that before you went live on 5 platforms. Yeah. But I'm the king of making bad decisions. A little drinky never hurt anyone. Speaking of that, Ren, on that military base you're on, do they have alcohol for sale by chance? The good stuff? Yeah, it has something to do with alcoholism. Shh. Don't call me out on my alcoholism. It was my friend's idea to do this with alcohol. That wasn't me, it was Patricia. Alright. Again, I remember none of this. If you remember none of this, how are you recalling it to us right now? Like, seriously. You should have left that out of the story. I was literally only 365 days old. Very specific. You was literally only a year old. I don't remember my father at all, but in that moment, my mother's whole world died. They be drinking and partying every single weekend. Okay, but you don't. Okay. Not contributing to the alcohol. But in that moment, my mother's whole world died. My family on both sides were able to help financially during this time. You know what? I'm going to try and at least read like a paragraph or two and then look back at the chat. Because I could just like respond to y'all all day, okay? Alright? I still was very sick and could not even sit next to a window without getting hurt. Damn. So we needed lots of help. Somehow we made it through this time. And the day after my second birthday, my mother searched for job interviews in the area. You are a smart ass baby. It was the first grown person she'd interacted with since her husband died in a year prior. Since her husband died a year prior. Since my dad died a year prior. I hate to do this to him. She got a very nice job working at home. She made good money so she could pay for my medical bills, yet still make time for me personally. I'm 19 now, and my mom died about a month ago. Brain cancer. Who would have guessed that I would outlive both my parents? I mean, especially with the condition I was in when I was born. I was able to move in with other family members, and I'm feeling mostly alright. Well, almost. He'll never accept that man as his dad. He abandoned them by dying. Oh my god, you have no chill. Okay, we'll keep going. You know what? No, I need a little bit more of this. I was looking through old photos to put in a commemorative album for her at her funeral. I came across pictures she took during the year when she was alone with me. Let me make that sound creepy somehow. Like somehow that feels creepy and oppressive to me. I'm drinking too. However, Corona lockdown closed all the liquor stores, so I only have low grade stuff. It's okay. Anything with alcohol content, good shit. You are my new spirit animal, Octavia. The memories will flow freely as soon as I forget this moment. Even though I know she was always so sad at that time, she always looks so happy to be with me. Again with this creepy shit. The reason I'm writing this here is because I found a photo on my second birthday party. I put party in air quotes because it was just me, my mother, a cake, and that's about it. The picture showed me and my mother sitting at one end of the table. There was a cake with a 2 candle sticking out on my plate. I sat in my high chair with a semi-confused expression while my mother hugged me tightly. there was another person in the picture. He was holding the camera back at himself and taking the picture like a selfie. He had captured the whole image. The only problem was that he had died a year before. My dead dad was taking a picture of my mother and I on my 2nd birthday. You know what I consider a party? Everybody leaves me alone. Okay. You're gonna be slurring by the end of this. You know what? I'm not the slurring type of drunk. You know I have that strong constitution. Once I get used to it. Oh, also, sponsor H2O. Drink water. Wait, so this is the end of the story? Yes, your dad was always there looking after you and your mom. I kind of feel sad and happy at the same time. Don't really know how to put it into words. Let's see the comments. Did you talk to anybody in your family about this? Someone said, the necromancer did a good job. Hey, that's my kind of party. Actually, it sounds like what I have going on right now, to be honest. In the words of McCree, it's high noon. I can't fit the headphones on over the hat. You know, I used to have a pair of headphones that would stretch to like down here. With that type of space allowance, I could fit it on over a hat. More like turnt noon. What's the next story that I can find? I'm not gonna lie. In this wig, I'm burning up. Like, legit. The temperature in here is extreme. If someone can find me another story, that'd be great. But until then, I'm gonna search with more stories with high ratings. There's so many stories here with high ratings. There's He Who Wanders. There's Distorted Warning Signals. There's Charles Bonnet Syndrome. Also, on a side note, I got this tie here. This was my free gift for signing up for Wish. All I had to do was pay the shipping. I like how it has a layer of white around the black. Hey Gina! Oh, you're finally here! So now I finally have one person on almost every service. There's someone on Twitch, 2 people on Facebook, 1 on YouTube. Let's do another story. But what do we select? The Body Farm, He Who Wanders, Distorted Warning Signal, Mommy Sleeps in the Basement, 2 people on Twitch. Oh, sorry, I forgot. Mars, Octavia, and Molly. They're here, they're on the Twitch. We gonna scrap, and I will win that scrap because of course, you know, I'm crazy. Keep going, whore. You beautiful whore. Let's do Mommy Sleeps in the Basement. That sounds weird, and it's got an average rating of 9.11. 9/11. You'll be too distracted by the 4 other platforms. Right now, I'm distracted by the strands of hair that is still in my face, regardless of this wig. Actually, this is the one wig where I didn't hairspray the bang, so it's free to do what it wants. Also, I changed the music in the background, but this is the creepiest music that I could find that wasn't 8-bit. It's actually from Resident Evil 1. It's the sound of the guardhouse. As a kid, that track terrified the shit out of me. Actually, let me switch up to the PlayStation 1 version. Because that's the remake version. Really? No one has it? No one has it. They've only got a 15-minute version, so we'll go with that. You knew what? Oh, you knew it was from Resident Evil? Copyright statement. Unless explicitly stated, all stories published on creepypasta.com are the property, and that's spelled wrong, of and under copyright to their respective authors, and may not be narrated or performed adapted to film, television, or audio mediums. Okay, this is a test stream. I'm trying to create a show here, and I've been going for, oh my god, 47 minutes. Shh. Just don't report me for now. Eventually, I will work on securing the rights to narrate. Actually, there is a person who does creepypasta stories who gave me the rights to narrate all of his stories as long as I notified him of the stories and posted him a link to what I was doing. So in the future, I will probably use more of his stories because I actually liked the stories that he had. And on 5 platforms, this is a major violation. But let's say, with the situation the United States of America is in right now, who's gonna take me to court when the courts are all... So, let's continue this illegal activity. Estimated reading time, 5 minutes. Let's see how much further we can go with that. Speak louder, please. I put my hand up next to my ear from the back of the room, signaling that she would need to raise her voice. Imitation last year's. You know what? We'll worry about that later. We'll worry about it later. For now, again, this is my test stream to see how I feel about doing this, especially with alcohol. Oh my god, I've almost drank this whole bottle. She took a deep breath. I could see anxiety turning her cheeks beet red as strands of blonde hair began to fall out of the same nappy ponytail she wore every day. The word nappy tells us something powerful. Sorry, I had to help Sam with something. Tell Sam to participate in the stream. My life would be complete if Sam and both Sam and Rachel showed up. Hi, my name is Paisley Jackson, and this is my poem called My Family. Paisley was rated 9-10, doesn't understand show not tell. I could see anxiety. Looks like we actually have a comedian in the Twitch chat. Alright. Paisley was a shy little girl. In fact, she was one of the quietest students I ever had in my 10 years of teaching. This is apparently from the list of the teacher. Which, I guess, being the youngest of 11 will do that to anyone. I'm not a comedian, I'm a creative writer. I can do better. If you have stories for me to narrate, I would be happy to narrate them. Though, since you've been so fun, I will not critique them. Because I'm not a writer. Surprisingly, she was very smart. I mean, it's your student, so they should be quite smart if you have any faith in your ability as a teacher. I don't think I have anything modern. I don't care if it's not modern. If you got something from the Renaissance era, I'm looking for anything that someone will give me the right to narrate. So if you have a story, I'd be happy to read it. Recently written. I don't care if it was like from 5 years ago. I need content. Unlike the rest of her siblings, who were dumber than a box of rocks. Lord, the Jackson kids were such a headache. Except for Paisley. Of course, I just wish I could have given her more opportunities to improve her future. But it'll be so bad. I'm definitely gonna send you a DM after this stream is over. Because I need more content. Again, I'm not gonna make you look bad, but like, I'm interested. Don't get me wrong, I tried to help Paisley. I really did. I gave her clothes, food, and even had funds lined up for her. But living dirt poor in a shack out in the middle of the desert was a bad hand to be dealt in life. Besides, no matter what I did, it wouldn't have made a difference. Everyone knows that the cycle of poverty is almost impossible to break. This is making me sad already. You know, like, this whole classism thing. I crossed my legs, pen in hand, preparing for yet another bland story about a family I'd never get to meet. If you've ever worked with underprivileged kids, this story is hurting me on a different level, I'm not gonna lie. But we're gonna keep going because I selected it. You'd know that guardian involvement is wise here. When it came to interest in their daughter's education, Paisley's parents were no exception. I have two mommies. One named Betty, who could make a good spaghetti. I called her Mom. She's the one that married my dad, Tom. One named Claire, with pretty yellow hair. Why do these stories always try to rhyme? I call her Mommy. Dad calls her his project, his hobby. Being smack dab in the middle of Utah, oh my god. Utah. I've seen hundreds of polygamous families, so this didn't strike me odd. Besides, even though polygamy is illegal, I try to keep my nose in my own business. Mom takes care of us all. She can do that because she's so tall. Mommy wears a pretty silver bracelet. She wears it because she's so famous. Wouldn't be the first time I saw kids coming up with stories about celebrity parents to add excitement to their ordinary lives. I just didn't expect it to come from Paisley. Mommy has me and Tommy. He's one of my older brothers. Mom is a lot older. She has all the others. I cringed. That meant that one of the Paisley's mothers had given birth to 9 children. I couldn't imagine going through that many pregnancies. Oh. Dad says me and Tommy are a gift from God. He'll never hit us with a rod. His pride and joy is Tommy. But he says the only person he truly loves is Mommy. I looked up from my grade book with a line about a rod catching my attention. Bitch! His bride. Oh, wait. Let me not skip to the line above. However, this wasn't the first time one of my students have accidentally reported abuse. Truth is, CPS picks and chooses who they want to help. You can say that shit again. Mom is having another baby. She's mad. Dad wants to name it Daisy. Mommy can't have no more kids. Her last one died of SIDS. Shifting in my seat, I scribbled down a note reminding myself to deliver my daughter's old baby clothes to the Jackson's shack. As a mother myself, I know babies can be expensive. Dad says she did it on purpose, because she wanted to run off and join the circus. Mom says it wasn't her fault. I promised to keep the secret in the me and her vault. I just noticed that everything in bold on this story is probably going to be a mediocre rhyme, so let me take another sip and prepare. I shook my head in sadness. How could someone blame a grieving mother for something she couldn't control? Mommy was the one Dad chose. He watched all of her school shows. They were joined in the night. Daddy says inside her is a lot of fight. Mom is just a cover. Dad doesn't really love her. Oh crap, 1 second. Octavia, no! Holy shit. We have to untime out you and permit. That'll give you a few seconds to revel in debauchery. I'm sorry, sometimes I need auto mod because sometimes the mods are asleep. Oh my god. Where did I leave off in this story? Oh, there it is. I threw my hand up. Oh my god. This mouse wheel is just acting of its own accord. I threw my hands up, a gesture meaning stop. I had taught my students, but Paisley didn't look up. She continued to read, oblivious to my disappointed frown. Obviously, one of her siblings put her up to this as a joke. Mommy says she needs to get out. She wants to show me what life is all about. Dad gets mad. It's his biggest pet peeve. Mommy is sad. She just wants to leave. Mommy sings. Oh my god, they misspelled sings. It says sings. Mommy sings to me her favorite song. Mom says Dad's head is wired wrong. Shaking my head, I sighed. Another child with so much potential and such a kind heart was stuck in the middle of a lover's quarrel that didn't even involve her. Wait, what happened? What's the death of the paranormal story? I read the wild bag. Octavia, if you're still there, could you send me that as a private message? So it doesn't get lost in the stream when I close this on all 4 or 5 streaming services? Wait, fix what? What am I fixing? Type faster. Alright. Last birthday, I wanted to take Mommy to see our favorite basketball team. Mom made me a cake with frosted buttercream. I got to see the Knicks, but Dad said he made a mistake he couldn't fix. Nothing is the same anymore. I don't know why for sure. Now Dad cries at night alone. He asks God, what have I done? To Mom, he no longer tends. She hopes the baby will make amends. Paisley rose her head up with a smile. You want to read this or not? I'm reading it. Paisley rose her head up with a smile, looking for my approval. Although I was appalled at the inappropriateness of her poem, I didn't want to break her spirits. She clearly was very proud of it, and scolding her for something that wasn't her wrongdoing. Oh my god. Has I really spent 15 minutes? I guess I have. Let's go back to the 1 hour version, okay? Oh no, you can send it to me in a whisper so it doesn't get lost in the chat. What was I? Just going over something that wasn't her wrongdoing. Was going to send that little girl back into her shell that I'd been trying to break for months. So instead I clapped, making the rest of the class, who were too young to understand the gravity of the situation, applaud too. Mrs. June, I brought a picture of Mommy for extra credit. It's got one more part of the poem. Can I show the class? I nodded my head, thinking there couldn't possibly be any details worse than what she already presented. Paisley reached into the front pocket of her old, worn-out, hand-me-down dress, pulling out an old, aging photo. She flipped the flaking picture around, displaying it as if it were her most prized possession. My blood ran cold. I finally figured out why Paisley looked so familiar to me. In what seemed to be a school photograph, smiling ear to ear exactly like Paisley, was a woman by the name of Claire Daisy. She was a high school student, popular for her ability to gain the lead in every school play that went missing without a trace 12 years prior. She was last seen leaving theater practice late one night, and then she just vanished. No sign of a struggle, no witnesses, no evidence, no body, nothing. Her case was covered on every news station in Utah for a while, because of how peculiar it was, until people lost interest. Paisley happily continued. I was so in shock I couldn't stop her as she read off the back of the picture. There's one thing I don't understand. Maybe you'll have the answer at hand. If Dad's love for Mommy will never sway, why did he treat her that way? Mom lays her head on a nice soft bed. but Mommy sleeps in the basement under a big slab of cement. So, yeah. No, actually, let me pull up my Twitch now. I know I have been streaming for an hour, but I said the show could possibly be an hour or two. So, I'm gonna need that DM from you. We're gonna read. Also, we're going to take a short stream break because I've been drinking so much and my bladder is very healthy, but I need to take a bathroom break. So in that case, I'll be right back. Also, Anime Weeb Kendall, hello. I just noticed you down there on TikTok. Hopefully you just showed up. But we're going to take a break and we're going to get on to the next story. You're going to send it when I return. Send it while I'm away from the bathroom break so I can just, like, you know, click on it. Also, don't mind that the background is going to look a little weird when I go. You know this wasn't my background. This isn't my room. You know that. We're also going to pause the music because we've only got an hour to work with on it. Oh my god, we used up like 48 minutes? I really need to refine my storytelling. On every platform except MySpace. I got a meeting at 7, so I gotta go. Okay, but thank you for showing up. Send me text messages to let you know what you think about my show idea. And I do think that that was a great idea to add alcohol to it because that makes it more fun for me. Anyways, I'll be back. MySpace. Oh my god, my butt. Okay. Let's say we have time for one more story, because we have been going for an hour and 10 minutes for a test run. It shouldn't go the full distance. But return and the rough draft of a paranormal story I wrote a while back. This is an alternate ending that cuts the full story short because I didn't have time to write anymore and I wanted to finish up, but it's still decent if nothing else. Let's see it. I see you took the time to cut off your hair. Yes, I did, actually, because it's time for the show to slow down. And also, I'm not gonna lie, I was burning up. Let's see how much text we got here. Oh my god. You wrote a novel for us. The Azure Project. Okay. Let's start a different set of music for this. It's only 7 pages. For someone who doesn't read often, that's a novel. So I'm gonna take and go to... Is this the track I'm looking for? Yeah. Is it creepy? Also, bonus points if you love Persona 4 Senpai. I'm about 300, 400 pages short of a novel. Okay. But for people who don't read often. Okay, so I'm interested in getting into the story, so I'm going to take a celebratory... whatever's left of this. That's it for this. It's done. Is the music too loud? I can drop the music a bit. I just want it to be kind of in the background. I don't want it to be too loud, you know? That should reduce it a bit. It's way low. Okay. Let's see your story. I'm in a cab pulling into... Oh, by the way, like, later on today, like, I plan on doing creepypasta narrations. I want to do it as a show for about an hour or two every Tuesday or Thursday. I don't want to do a weekend day because if I'm at a convention, I don't want to feel pressured to do a stream. Or maybe I should. Maybe I won't have connectivity. But, you know, I'm thinking every Tuesday or Thursday. I kind of wanted to do it later in the day, like at nighttime, at least in California. So it'd be like a bedtime story for everyone. I don't know when it's going to actually be, but, you know, we're theory crafting it. That's why we test things. So, with that being said, we're going to try this out. The Azure Project. I'm in a cab, pulling into a driveway downtown. The sun hasn't crossed the horizon line yet. It's still so early that it might as well be night. The driver stops the car and tilts his head back to me. "This the place, sir?" He asks. I know my voice isn't the one that you imagined for this, but like, try and... Oh my god, low battery. Let's turn the auxiliary battery on my phone. Is it on? Okay, it's on. Stay. There we go. Okay. He asks, raising his voice over the heavy rain and taking one last puff of the cigar. before putting it, before, okay, you know what, since you're right here, I'm not gonna mention the proofreading parts. I'll just try and correct them in the most inconspicuous way possible. Their own personal voice for characters, unless the writer specifies. You're right. You're right. Do mind the rough draft quality. Okay. All right. I will try putting it out on a stained ashtray. I straighten my mask and look through its slits. The house in front of us is tall, with some broken windows that have candlelight coming through them, like eyes waiting to blink the second I look away. The driver lets out a sigh. You're gonna go, then go. I don't have all day for you to make googly eyes at the place. I take out my credit card and let him swipe it. He never takes his hand off the wheel, and his foot is resting next to the gas pedal, tapping in an uneven spatter. I open the door and nod, keeping my hand on it for a few seconds. He hands my card back and moves his foot onto the gas, waiting to push down. Thunder bellows above us, and he's shaking, but trying his best to stay calm. Afraid of a little bit of thunder, my friend? Thank you, I say, pulling my suitcase along and closing the door. He doesn't respond before pulling away as fast as he can. I don't blame him. Houses like this have a reputation. When you get to that point, people don't stick around to see if it's true. Except me. I walk past the street sign on the edge of the driveway. Hollow Avenue. It's the right address, unfortunately. I pull my hood over my head and my coat quickly becomes drenched. The water drips across the slits of the mask like a puppet show with 1,000 actors. Taking up my vision, but I look past it. If this were any other day, I'd be running to shelter, but not today. My eyes are drawn to the house. An old building, stained and cracked bricks, a dark blue, like the house I grew up in, but missing that home feeling. Trees line the sidewalk, wilted, but still alive, their branches twisting out, reaching for me. I shy away from them, staying centered on the sidewalk as I approach the deck. It's a worn-down hunk of wood with barely functional steps that might crumble as soon as I step on them. I move up to them slowly, making sure not to apply too much pressure. They're silent as my feet press into them, like you're just stuck. Oh, I'm adding words. I'm sorry. The intoxication speaking. My feet press into them like they're just thick mud. A few steps later, and I'm at the top of them, with my hand on a metal railing, slippery and loose. I almost lose my balance when I let my weight fall into it and it swings outward, barely holding its nails into the ground. The high-pitched squeal it makes when the nails scratch against the iron makes my heart race. Not to mention almost falling a few feet into a puddle that's forming at the skirting. But I pull myself back to my feet. Page break. But I don't have any more to sip on, so I pause when I get to the front door. I don't want to be that guy that wakes you up at 2 a.m. during a thunderstorm. I take a few steps over to the window and peer through. Just as creepy, I know. But I can see a light on in the kitchen. She's awake. I step back to the door and start to prepare a speech about why I'm here. I come up with 4 or 5 different ways of putting this, and I can't describe which one to go with. So I just take the first idea that comes to mind. I clear my throat as I raise my hand in a fist chest level. Now hold it there for what feels like a full minute. The door opens before I can knock, and I'm face to face with Elizabeth. She has a pleasant smile despite the cold air that's surrounding her. The anything but pleasant atmosphere all around both of us. She's got rosy red hair, curled, not straight. It comes down to her shoulders, and the kind of deep blue eyes you'd see on one of those supposedly haunted porcelain dolls they sell at flea markets. My gaze makes its way up her flowing sky blue dress, and we make eye contact. My speech is gone. Seeing her face to face, I can't bring myself to go on. I'm some hero who's gonna swoop in on a white horse and take her to safety. She smiles. "Please, come in," she says. I adjust my mask one more time and follow her into the house. Not sure if mask was mentioned in the past. The front door leads directly into the living room. We pass a staircase by the door and I peer up to the second floor. Ooh, that kind of rhymed, that's nice. It's banister damaged and being held up by a bookshelf. We come to the center of the living room and Elizabeth stops. It's surprisingly well kept, even though the rumors would have you believe otherwise. There's a large painting on the wall above the couch of an old man and a little girl. A spitting image of Elizabeth as a child. That's like a tongue twister after that. She motions her hand for me to sit down. I place my suitcase next to me and fall onto the couch. It's soft, slightly taking me in as the fabric moves under my weight. Elizabeth notices my wandering eyes and goes to close the kitchen door. I don't question it. Whatever she's hiding in there can wait. She takes a seat in the recliner opposite to me in the room and pulls the lever to release the footrest. Neither of us want to make the first move or say what I know we're both thinking. The room goes dead silent from the crackling fireplace between us. "So what do you think?" I start. I call her Lorelei. She cuts in, lighting an incense on the side table next to her. That's what you were going to ask, right? It wasn't even close, but I go along with it. It's easier to get the story if you let the client lead, or a pre-planned series of lies. "A ghost?" I say. She's slow to respond, tapping her finger on the handrest. "Care for some coffee?" she asks. "Sure," I say. I don't like coffee and probably won't drink it unless she says something, but it's a good excuse to be alone for a moment. We could both use a moment to regroup. She gets up and walks to the kitchen door, pausing to look back to me one more time, tilting her head just enough that I can make out her facial expression. She licks her lips and winks. I don't know what she's thinking, but this isn't going to get sexual. She's cute, sure, but I didn't come here for a one-night stand. Oh my god, why does it keep saying there's... Oh, the battery on that just died. Yeah, my phone case is, it's not charging like it should. It's only got like 1% power left in it. I know I've had it for a year, but that jump from a half charge to like 1%, that's odd. I'll return shortly. Your phone case charges. Yes, it is a Mophie juice pack. They are $99 for almost every phone brand that they attach to. all you have to do is push the button on the back there and hold it in for like a second, and it charges. If you push the button, these little 4 notches will show how much power is left. Like it'll light up here, 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 and here for full charge. But apparently after a year, yeah, it's a portable charger. It's got a charge port in the bottom, but oddly enough, it's an Android charger even for iPhone models. But it's got wireless charging, so when I charge it, it also charges my phone. But after a year, clearly it seems to not be working how it should be. I'll return shortly. Please, make yourself at home, she giggles. Closing the door behind her, there's a clunk. She locked the door. I give it a few seconds, then stand up. I don't want to go through her stuff like I own the place, but I can tell she's not giving me the full story. I turn around and look at the portrait again. Up close you can see the dust lining the frame and how faded the colors really are. I'm staring at the young version of Elizabeth, like it's gonna move its eyes. Cliché horror. Those things do happen sometimes. Nothing changes with the picture. The phone starts ringing, full volume. Then I pull it out like I'm in the closet hiding from a serial killer. I don't want to grab Elizabeth's attention just yet. I silence the volume, then look at the caller ID. ID not available. It's a new client. I'll call them back later. When I'm not sneaking around someone's house at 2 in the morning. I slide my phone back in my pocket and walk over to the grandfather clock by the staircase. Its hands don't move, frozen at 4:52. For who knows how long now. It's the same kind of clock my father had, passed down through our family for so long that nobody knows where it originated or how old it really is. I push the minute hand forward as if it's gonna suddenly start working again, and stop at 5 o'clock, on the dot. I half expect to hear a ringing echo, like the large church bells that go off every hour in the larger cities I've visited. But there's only silence. Silence. Like the thoughts in my head aren't composing a symphony of chaos right now. I take a few steps over to the staircase and peer upwards. It's too dark to make anything out, but I stare anyway. Waiting for my eyes to adjust or gain night vision, I can make out the vague outline of something at the top of the steps. It's waving back and forth ever so slight in the blackness. And I want to rush up there and see what it is. The protagonist seems to be... You know what? I'm not even going to say it. I'm just going to take water. I peek back over to the kitchen door, waiting for Elizabeth to walk back through. I doubt I have time to go upstairs right now, but I take the first step anyway. My foot presses against the floorboard. The first step makes a loud creaking noise, like when you step on a cat toy on your way to the bathroom, half asleep and not expecting it. I pull back fast, and my vision immediately shoots to the kitchen door, still closed, still locked. I look to the top of the stairs again. Keeping an ear out for the kitchen door, I squint my eyes when I notice the outline is gone. I definitely saw something up there. What? I call out, keeping my tone low but raising my voice a bit. There's no response. Not that I was expecting one. Ghosts don't typically hold solid conversations very well. I keep watching and call out again. Lorelei, are you here? I say. And then something peeked its head around the corner. It's a girl, maybe 16 years old, with flowing brown hair, messy, probably from whatever event led to her death. She moves into plain view, and I can see her torn dress that was probably white at some point, but now resembles a gray that's swaying towards black. The cut and weathered edging lace at the bottom of her dress is too clear as she takes a step towards me. The pattern of lily flowers lining its tips. She's too real. I take a step back, then stop. She's on the verge of tears as she whimpers. "Don't drink it." Her voice cracks as she says it. Ominous. "It's alright. Come on down." I try to encourage her. She shakes her head and her eyes widen, struck with fear. A hand grabs my shoulder from behind me, slender and frail, as someone whispers in my ear. "Snooping around, are we?" The voice says. It takes a moment, but I realize it's Elizabeth. Turn around to face her. Her expression quickly shifts from the frown I wasn't supposed to see to a gentle smile. And she laughs. "Don't worry. You'll get to go up there before too long." She winks again. That's kind of creepy. I'm not going to lead her on, but I don't feel comfortable addressing it either. I turn back around, ready to coax Lorelei into getting close enough that I can free her, but she's gone. "Is something wrong?" Elizabeth asks. "Coffee's done." "Don't drink it." Can't think of anything else Lorelei could have been talking about. Elizabeth is holding a silver plate with edges that curve upward and drop back down. On it, 2 glass cups, tinted blue, with a brown liquid in them. I wasn't planning on drinking the coffee in the first place, but after hearing Lorelei's only spoken words, I'm not even gonna risk it. Elizabeth leads me back to the middle of the living room and places the plate on the side table of the recliner. She runs her fingers down my mask. That's super creepy, I'm not gonna lie. Taking in the detail of every carving and resting them on the dried white paint below my eye slit. Eyes are paint there. What do you look like under there anyway? She's trying hard to make this something it's not. Wait, is that the sound of the, Oh, I've used up all of this track. So, we're just gonna default back to the other one, you know? Because there is still like 15 minutes there. Which means we've been reading this story for a while. Okay. So it leads me back to the middle of the living room and places the plate on the side table. The recliner. She runs her fingers down on my mask, taking the detail of every carving and resting them on the dried paint below my eye slits. What do you look like under there anyway? She's trying to make this something it's not. She's the one that called me, invited me, and asked for my help with this ghost. I shake my head and take a step back from her. We should focus on Lorelei, I say. A hint of irritation in my voice. Her lips lose their curve and her eyes move away from mine. "I'm sorry," she says. "You're right. It's just been a long time since I've had someone like you in this lonely home. Someone who smells so... Never mind." Even in apologizing, she's giving hints, like a yellow-eared bat. The kind of thing that never lets go of its prey. Once it's got its sight set. I just got a bit excited, is all. How about we call it a night and start figuring this out tomorrow? Well, she says, her smile returning, a gentle smile, and an innocent face, but so rash, drawn by her instincts. A gentle smile, the kind of smile that's just a bit too forced. Elizabeth, what are you hiding from me? She takes my hand and brings me to the staircase. You wanted to go up there, right? Well, lucky you. Your bedroom for the night is up there. She tells me as I pull my hand away from hers. I don't want to be harsh on her. She's just lonely. Probably. Lorelei pops back into my mind. It might cheer Elizabeth up a bit and get us back on topic. To know what I saw, I try to make eye contact with her, so she knows I'm serious, but she's staring at the ground. I didn't want to go upstairs just to look around. I saw the ghost. Lorelei, right? I say, waiting for her to hug me or something that shows she's not feeling bad about the situation. She doesn't move, and her eyes are still on the ground. What's that? You saw her? Yeah, at the top of the stairs. She seemed pretty distressed, crying almost. Her face was dirty, and she wore a white dress, but it wasn't so white anymore. She looked like she'd been locked up for weeks, if not months, before her death. Elizabeth finally looks up to me, but not with excitement or joy. She's shaking as she narrows her eyes, a side of Elizabeth I haven't seen before. But she pulls it together and brings back her smile. On second thought, why don't you sleep on the couch tonight? At least for a little while. I just remembered there's something I need to take care of upstairs. She says with a flat tone, like it's a script she's rehearsed for hours on end. No emotion. She steps in front of me like I'm gonna run upstairs against her wishes. Go on then. I'll see you in the morning. I nod and walk away, laying on the couch, but not closing my eyes. Elizabeth shuts off the lights and parades herself upstairs like it's going to vanish if she isn't quick. I'm lying here in silence, the oh-so-common silence of a haunted house. Something isn't right about any of this. I sit up and reach over to my suitcase to pull it onto the couch with me. I place my hand over its handle and the symbol on my gloves lights up, unlocking the case. I'm careful not to spill any of the loosely strapped potions on its top half. What time frame are we in right now? Like, got potions. That's cool. I like that. I should really fix that up when I get the time. Not now, though. Never now, really. I pull out a strand of... is that... aconite? From under my rusted dagger and spellbook. Oh wow, you're like a witch or something. It's a purple flower that I often see hanging on the side of mountains or perched on high peaks. Getting as close to the sun as it can. It's the kind of flower that's so pretty to look at, but has a deadly touch. Fun fact about this monster of a plant, in low doses it can help you sleep. Just don't overdo it or you'll sleep forever, if you know what I mean. I crush up the leaves in my hand. Rest isn't the type of thing that comes naturally to a person like me. But there are alternatives. I pull up my sleeve, preparing to drop the fragments to my arm and let their venom seep into my skin. That's a weird page cut that it did there, but I'm pretty sure that portion itself was not your fault. It's based on a real flower called Narration, which is also called the Queen of Poisons. Sounds like Nightshade to me. Or what about Wisteria? Reminds me of Demon Slayer. Anime. A little more to the sleeping alternative. My vision starts to give out, hallucinating strange lights and uncommon sounds. Several small orbs float up to me, and I can't tell if they're real. I'm more familiar with its name, Wolfsbane. Okay, that sounds familiar. I don't know what it is, but I'm pretty sure you just explained it pretty well. The sounds of knocking on the wall above me, a loud crash, and some sinister laughing. I lay still, like I'm in a theater, watching a crime drama play, and I'm not sure if the actors are acting, or if the lead actress is really being robbed right now. I roll over as my body becomes more relaxed. Please help! Echoes from the second floor, and it's louder than the other giggles and chatter I can hear all around me. My eyes finally close, and everything goes quiet. I'm woken up, with my body drenched. Elizabeth is standing in front of me, holding an empty bucket. She looks just like she did last night when I told her about Lorelei. Squinted eyes and furrowed brows. A distinct lack of her signature smile. But she's not shaking this time. One of her hands falls up into a fist, and she starts yelling at me. The other kept behind her back. What the hell? She says, her voice almost cracking. If anything, I should be asking her that question. An extremely poisonous dark green flower that kill one touch. Only grows in the northern hemisphere, mostly on mountains, in isolation, almost like an orchid. What is this? Was almost cracking. If anything, I should be asking her that question. I'm not the one who just woke up someone from a dead sleep using a bucket of ice-cold water. Why didn't you tell me you weren't human? That you don't even have blood running through your veins? My mask is loose on my face. I push it on tighter, and it sinks back to normal, molding around my facial structure. I should be just as angry about the mask and the water, but I can't bring myself to yell at a client. Your eyes are amazing. Thank you! They're actually contacts. We went over that earlier, but oh wait, this is a TikTok question, so I should be looking down at this one. But yeah, they are contacts. Why didn't you show me you weren't human, that you don't even have blood running through your veins? My mask is loose on my face. I push it tighter and it sinks back to normal, molding around my facial structure. I should be just as angry about the mask and the water, but I can't bring myself to yell at a client. It's something I'd rather not discuss, I say. And it's not relevant to this case. Like I said last night, we should focus on Lorelei. That's why you called me, right? She doesn't lose her attitude. Taking a closer, I don't know what you wanted to put there, to me and making eye contact. Maybe a closer step. I don't know. Get out of my house, you monster. Monster? That's one way of putting it. I'm not like the banshees that were roaming around the small town in the north, waking everyone up in the middle of the night with their cries only to kill them a few hours later. I'm not like that chimera that got loose at that traveling circus a few years ago and tore apart half the audience mid-show. But I'm not human either. I get why Elizabeth is upset, but she's being rash and counterproductive. Please calm down. I only want to help with the ghost. I want to talk her out of her decision, paycheck or not. She clearly needs me. She reveals, oh my god, 10% power left. Where was I? She reveals her other hand, holding a kitchen knife. Oh my god, back with the kitchen and butter knives. Your services are no longer needed. Leave this place. Walaikum salam. She says, pointing the knife at me. I nod and stand up, keeping my distance from Elizabeth, so I don't have to hurt her if she tries anything crazy. I grab my suitcase and we're both still a moment. Are you Go! She doesn't even let me finish. This is a complete 180 from the Elizabeth I met last night. For someone who's accepting a haunted house and pushing away help, she really doesn't seem to like monsters. I nod again and give her a smile under my mask. It can't be helped. Every once in a while I'll come across a client like this. Scared of their paranormal issue, but more scared of me. My lips are getting dry probably because of all that alcohol. I turn my back to her and head to the door. I can hear her footsteps behind me, making sure I actually leave even though the front door is a shot away from where we were standing. She steps in front of me and opens the door, places her hand on my shoulder as I walk out the door, and for a moment I'm hoping she changed her mind. Thank you, though, for coming all this way. I'm sorry to have wasted your time. She closes the door and I'm alone. I start walking forward, past the damp, still dripping trees that longer have ominous shadows. I pull out my phone and unlock the screen. Ooh, modern tech. Opening the call app to set up a cab ride, I dial the number, put the phone to my ear. It rings twice and he picks up. Done with the case already, huh? The place is haunted as everyone says? I don't respond. I have nothing to say on the case. It was just yet another unsuccessful. My face scared a client away. Again. That bad? I won't bug you on it. Take it you need a ride. He's a lot calmer than last night, but he's hesitating. Still not comfortable with the idea that he's gonna have to come back here. Rumors of a demonic force calling this house its home, and all I saw was a sad spirit. I was too afraid to come out of the shadows. Elizabeth isn't in danger. At least I know that. I can move on from this place and keep pushing forward. I turn back to the house. Yeah, give you about an hour? The house isn't so ominous in the daytime, and the paint isn't playing with those street lamps anymore. But still, this place holds a certain sorrow to it. Yeah, that'll do. I'll see you soon, he said. And that is the end of your story as we have it. I do intend it is unfinished, and I would be interested in seeing the other half of it when you complete it, even if this is in work you've been doing for years. So the concept behind this whole story is completely missed in the alternate ending. Is that Lorelei isn't a ghost at all. She's a captive and Elizabeth is a vampire. Which is why she gets upset when she discovers Azure is not human. Also why she insists Azure sleeps downstairs in the... Oh my god, that hour track is done? Wow. Okay. Okay, that's cool, that's cool. Also, she says Azure sleeps downstairs in the light of find out he's seen Lorelei. As far as Azure himself, he's a witch doctor who, as a child, encountered the source of all life, which gave him magical powers but damaged his body severely. The price of magic is steep. Okay, and that makes sense. Let's see how long we've been going here. Okay, so we've been going for a total of an hour and almost 51 minutes. So even in my normal show period, it's only supposed to be about an hour or 2 hours. So we've gone beyond that. Or in the case of 2 hours, almost beyond that. So this seems like a good place to wrap up this show. I'll probably be looking at playbacks of this time, considering half of your stream. Oh, no, it's okay. The first half was filled up with creepypastas from Reddit and some other story that I found on a website. It was an interesting story, and I'm glad that you explained it. And I'm glad to have read it. It's nice. A few things need spell check, but otherwise it's solid for when you finish working on this story. Again, I'm thinking of doing this every Tuesday and Thursday. I want to work around nighttime, but with the schedule at my job, if it stays open. I'm not sure if that'll be fully possible, but I'll try and stick to around nighttime. Read stories like this. I'll try and stay more on point. I am going to end the stream and look at a grocery store. No way we're closing. Oh, I know that feeling. I worked retail for 10 years. And then I worked as a server, but I quit that job and got a job as a server at a baseball stadium. And you know how the baseball season went. They pushed it back due to the coronavirus. So, that's not happening. The movie theater I'm working at, I'm pretty sure is going to close within a week or two because all the movies that were set to come out within the next week or two have been pushed back by like a month. So, either the state is going, or the city is going to tell us to close down, or they're going to realize that we're not getting paid that much and we're not making that much money on movies, so they're going to close down. Fill up with these. Yeah. Okay. Thank you for showing up. Thank you for chatting, and thank you for sharing your story, Octavia. I appreciate that, and I appreciate that follow. So, what we're going to do here is we're actually going to end the stream, and if you see another stream on any of these channels tonight, tomorrow, or any days other than Tuesday or Thursday, they're probably going to be Dead by Daylight, or Red Dead Redemption, or some other random game. I hope you have a good night. I hope you all stay safe in this quarantine. If you have coronavirus, I hope you're not infecting other people willingly. And we'll see you in the next episode of Welcome to the Spookeasy. And this is how we end the stream.